Okay, good morning and welcome to Womanaging. I am really excited because I have my first Indy girl on today outside of Franklin. Meet the owner of Kismetic Brewing, Nicole Oesch.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me today.
I'm so excited. This is my first time being here at Kismetic. It's absolutely beautiful. Would you say the vibe in your house is kind of decorated the same or no?
No, I am not this talented to decorate my own home this way.
It's beautiful.
But it's what I wish my home would look like, actually.
I love it. So I wanted to start on the beginning. Were you always a Hoosier? Where did you grow up?
No, I grew up northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
I went to Purdue, graduated from there and moved out to Southern California for a couple of years. But I graduated basically right into the 2008 recession. So ended up moving back to the Midwest and had been dating someone from Indy. And that's kind of how I ended up here.
Yeah. And what all did you do in California when you were there?
So my degree was in public relations and like creative writing. So I did a lot of things out there. But what I went out for, I was interning with a PR firm called Much and House. And we were out there. So it was right when the tween demographic was just starting to be like an actual thing. Like it used to be either adult or kid actors.
Yeah.
So tweens was this new market. And so I was working with a lot of like Disney kids, but they were like not the main star. They were like, were like the best friend or that, had like kind of
the
a secondary.
sub-actor?
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting. And PR was not for me.
Yeah.
Or at least not entertainment PR.
Because you went into hospitality next, correct?
I did. So I kind of fell into hospitality, which was very cool and kind of funny coming from Purdue. That's not what I went to school for.
Yeah.
I started working at the Indianapolis Marriott downtown, just like I needed a job. I was a banquet server there. And then just kind of progressed, worked my way up there, was a banquet manager, and then joined the sales team. And that's where I spent most of my time.
And how did that translate into your craft brewing world? Where did you get into craft brewing?
So when I left the sales team, it was because I was starting a food truck with one of my best friends. It was called Broke Chicks Chili, RIP. But we were starting that. And obviously I needed some kind of like side hustle. And when we were doing food pop-ups, we would end up in breweries a lot doing food pop-ups. And it just really exposed me to tap rooms and like that kind of community. And I just really like fell in love with it. So it was actually Indiana City was one of the places we would pop up a lot. And I just asked if they were hiring and just started working behind the bar. Showed up to my first tap room shift, didn't know how to pour a beer, was wearing a white t-shirt. They're like, oh, friend, like you have so much to learn.
Like, we need help you
out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let me show you.
They're like, come on.
Did you have a craft beer that you like personally loved before then, or were you drinking craft beer yet?
I was pretty new to craft beer. My first craft beer experiences were in California. So Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is like probably my all-time, go-to beer. And that was my first one. So I always love it. I was more dipping my toe into like Indiana City had a Kolsch called Sister City. That was my favorite. But I was really like a novice, not an IPA drinker, just kind of like really new to it.
Yeah. And I'm not either. Like I started, as a server being introduced to craft beer when I was like 17. When I had to sell it, I never had a sip.
Yeah.
And, you learn to love just the sale and the creative side of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have from one of your interviews when you were talking about the tap rooms and breweries that not all aspects of the culture were a good fit for you. And that's when you decided to leave. So do you want to elaborate on what aspects you thought weren't the best at that time?
Yeah, I just, I don't even know if it's intentional, but I think that tap rooms and craft beer often focused on guys or just it felt like a dude's world, a guy's environment. And so I really wanted to create something that felt like for everybody else, like welcoming. For women, for however else you identify. I wanted it to be like really welcoming and feel kind of feminine and like not so sterile, guy's garage.
Yeah, because craft beer can be intimidating.
Yeah.
It's such a big market and there's so many different things to know about it.
Yeah.
That's all I've always felt that way. Is hard to get into when you're, even as a girl selling beer. As just a server, it's hard to sell to some of those big burly guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, just goes back to Kismetic, I mean, destiny and fate. You learned and met Ryan.
Yes.
So tell us that story.
Yeah. So that's really fun because I joke and say I've been Ryan's boss our entire relationship. Sorry, Ryan. But yeah, I met him. I interviewed him at Indiana City. He had shown up for a taproom server interview.
Yeah.
So we ended up having like a 45-minute interview for a taproom position, which, is like a 10-minute interview, right? Like, can you pour a beer? Do you know what you're talking about? Can I trust you? We're done. So it was basically like a first date, but he quickly started learning in the back. He had done home brewing and then started moving into like a cellarman position at Indiana City as well, and then became like an assistant brewer, production manager there. So when I left Indiana City, he left shortly after, and I started working on this project and had just basically said, I applied for permits and all that stuff. Cause you like are sitting having a beer and you're a little tipsy and you're like, we're going to open a brewery. But then like, you ever do anything with it. Yeah. So when our permits showed up, I was like, hey, so like this, will you brew for us? Cause it's going to be like really awkward if I have to ask someone else.
Oh, and was he like, of course? Or he was like, let's slow the brakes.
Well, I think he was definitely excited to do it, but I think he was just like, wait, this is for real? Like this is happening? This isn't just like a drunken conversation, with friends at the bar? Cause how many times do you have that? And then like, well, we have a federal permit, so
when was the first conversation you guys had where it was like, no, I'm serious, like let's do the brewery, let's do our own thing?
From the first time we started dating, we'd always kind of talked about it, but when it became serious was I left Indiana City in like, I think it was like July 2020. It was like during COVID, and was just like, frankly, like kind of mad and was like, you know what, forget it. Like, I'm either going to start my own brewery or I'm going to leave beer and I'm going to like find something else to do. Yeah. So that is when we were out with some friends one night. We were at Upland, which we always love to go there. And I was just like, screw it. Let's start our own brewery. Yeah. And then,
and then it
started working on it, and then it was real all of a sudden.
Yeah. How did COVID affect your mentality around craft beer? Because, starting a business in COVID, especially craft beer, is hard.
Yeah, it was. I think it gave a lot of people like some time to maybe reassess a little bit and to like take stock, right? And so I felt like, as much as I loved what I was doing and I loved the team that I was working with, I was like, what am I doing here if it's not feeling fulfilling anymore? And trying to think like how I could make an impact or a change. Logistically, it was tough because, we had to pursue a loan to make this happen, which was challenging. No one was lending money during COVID. Yeah. So I had submitted a business plan to this awesome local organization, Intend Indiana. They have something called the Build Fund. Yeah. And that is specifically to help develop businesses in like the near East Side, near South Side, those kind of developing neighborhoods. And we live on the near East Side. So we just submitted that business plan. And then basically every quarter, it was just like touching base. Like, how's the market feeling? Do you guys feel like you're going to resume lending yet? And we finally got the green light to get started in like the first quarter of 21.
Okay. So when you were waiting quarter to quarter, what was a day in a life for you guys? How are you transforming the business and looking at marketing, spaces? How did that look?
This space actually is pretty, again, like serendipitous, we call it Kismetic, like how it came together, because we had years before this space or this entire building has other artist studios. And so like a couple years before, they had a First Friday and had actually invited us as Indiana City over to serve beer, but I'd only been in the building once or twice. Yeah. And we were just driving around looking for empty spaces. And I just thought like, hey, remember that building? We drove by. There was no for lease signs or anything like that. So I had found the landlord's information again and had said, I don't even know if this space here, on Newton is available, but here's what we're looking to do. And he responded like immediately and had said, this is the weirdest thing. I've been approached by a couple of people about that space, but I've been holding out because I just really feel like there should be a brewery in here.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And so we only looked at one other space. So it just kind of happened like that.
That's awesome. And you're so close to your landlord now.
Yeah, he's fantastic. We really lucked out. RJ's a great landlord, and any artist that can get into this building, highly recommend it.
That's awesome. How did you get a hold of him?
I think I found like, I sent a message through like the 201 Studios Facebook, I think is how I found it. Just like, and I think I found his email there, something like that.
Yeah, you can find just about anyone in Messenger.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, then otherwise we just pretty much started immediately trying to work on the branding and the interior design concepts, because even though we barely even had a space yet, I just wanted it to feel like really finished from the jump. Like I didn't want it to feel like we hadn't, like that we were piecing it all together. So I just wanted it to feel like really polished.
Yeah, it's very retro chic. You got a lot of darker blues and light purples and some really beautiful like marigold yellow. What was your biggest inspiration style-wise for the brewery?
I will say it's pretty cool. We worked with a local couple, Guide and Anchor, and they did the design for the space. And we spent an afternoon with them just kind of talking about like how we're things that were important to us growing up, like the music our parents listened to and how that shaped us, and wanting it to feel, you know, like feminine, and also thinking people put a lot of thought into like cocktail bars. Why can't we do the same thing, like approach a tap room the same way?
Yeah.
So just having kind of that conversation, they dreamed up a few different concepts for us, and this was like retro future, you know, past meets present. So retro with like the mid-century modern elements, but then what felt more futuristic with just like the bold, solid, bright colors, like monochromatic like that. So yeah, there was a few different options, but that's the one that we had just kind of fallen in love with. And it was originally, it was a little more like maybe traditional 70s, like some reds and greens. And honestly, these are just like some of our favorite colors. So it's like, can we make it feel a little more feminine? Because that still felt a little masculine to us. And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I talked about when I was making my bar card. I feel like a lot of bars were very masculine feeling, which is hard edges and very dark and dingy almost.
Right.
And you don't always feel welcome there as a woman. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's just the way it is.
Right. It's nothing like intentional, but
it's not intentional. Yeah. And then the people you meet at those bars are amazing people.
Right.
And, you know, or love to just hang around and just be with you and meet you. And it's not the way it's supposed to be. Right. I think they don't intend to.
Yeah.
Another quote you said I really loved was about just craft beer and the breweries. You said it was a hospitality environment that you already knew you loved, but with less rigidity than the corporate world. Because you were in corporate for a while.
Yeah.
What made you decide to like get out of corporate? Because I know you left maybe 2015-ish.
Yeah. It was like 15, 16. Yeah. When I ended up at Indiana City. It was mostly, I guess for good or bad, I'm like not a fantastic rule follower.
Same.
Sorry, Marriott and Susan, my old boss. But I guess I'm more like, if something feels like it's a rule just for a rule's sake, I don't know. I'm just not great in that environment. So I just don't feel like I was the best fit for the corporate world. You know, tattoos, piercings, as you know, people start to have like arbitrary problems with that. Yeah. And it's like, am I good at my job? Yeah, I am. So can we just...
Yeah, if I had a long sleeve shirt on, you would not think anything of it.
Exactly. So that's kind of when I moved away from that. And Rigid, but White Lodging manages the Marriotts that I worked for. And it is an extremely high standard of customer service and service in general, which I am very thankful that I had that experience. But yeah, it just was like, how can I marry that with something that feels a little more natural to me?
Yeah, and just because you're not in like a tie and all that doesn't mean you can't have that great service here where it's more relaxed. I mean, at Greek's Pizzeria and Tap Room, like, yeah, we wear plain shirts and jeans with cuts in them, but we still always like strive for like best service in town.
Right.
Just because we're not, white tablecloth doesn't mean you can't give great service.
Absolutely.
Which is what you learn from corporate environment. And I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing if it wasn't for like not as many rules I have with, Jason, who's here today actually with us. But awesome. I love that. And I love how you like sourced everything, like especially like the art above your taps. I'd love for you to go in on that as well. Yeah. How you got that.
So that's actually, I made that.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. So, it's the same design. We call it like the wheat fields. So it's supposed to kind of look like, wheat blowing in the breeze in Indiana. And so they had actually projected that design onto that. It's like a grid. And then I have always latch hooked since I was like a little kid. So
that's awesome.
We were talking about it. And, Sarah with Guide and Anchor had said, I wonder if we can find someone that can do this. I was like, oh, actually.
You just do it.
I just as a little nerdy art kid, I can do that. Yeah.
Just a nerdy little art girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the name Kismetic. Because that's beautiful. Talk about how you did the mashup, what it means to you, and all the experiences that led you to that.
It's super weird. It's kind of like the space too, where we didn't have like a bunch of names that we were going through. We actually had a really hard time thinking of a name. And Kismetic works on a couple different ways. It's like kismet, so meant to be, meets kinetic, like kinetic energy. So like when something's in motion, it stays in motion. So we were like, well, we think of it as like moving towards our fate, building our fate. Like it's still active. It's not passive. But then it's also a combination of like, I'm a little more woo-woo and Ryan is, hard science. So it works on a few different levels.
Yeah, that's how Jason and I are. I'm very superstitious, and he's very much, no, this is science.
Exactly. So it's a funny mashup, but that's how it came up. And it was really only like, I don't even remember what the other name we were looking at was, but it was this and that. And then we're like, no, it's done.
Because once you pick something, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You better love it.
Oh, yeah. And we went through many iterations of looking at logos and like showing it to people and being like, this doesn't look like something else, does it? This doesn't look weird, does it? Just making sure that we weren't missing anything, making sure, not to be weird, but there's an iteration of the K where it has like a couple like trailing Ks. And we're like, can we like extend that out? Like make sure it's like 6 or 7 of them, not just like a couple, just things that you're like, how could this be misinterpreted one day?
Yeah, exactly.
You just need to know. You just need to look at all the angles.
I feel like the way you found your space was a very like Kismetic moment for you.
Yeah.
What are a couple other Kismetic moments in starting the business that you look back on? You're like, that was meant to be.
Well, I think it really, not that it didn't have its challenges. It certainly did. But as far as opening a business goes, we got really lucky that things did feel like they almost just worked out or fell in place. But one of my favorite moments was the that purple that you see like on the doors. So we had already had our color palette fully chosen.
Yeah.
So then it was time to go to the store and just find the corresponding paint, right? That's going to look the best with that. And so we're looking at all the little shade cards, and I still have that one because the color was called Kismet. And that was just, I actually like started laughing and like dropped down to the floor and showed Sarah, and she was just like, no way. Like, okay, absolutely. That's the one. And it really did match the palette perfect. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. What about after you opened? Did you have like a moment that stuck out and you're like, yep, I did the right thing?
During our soft opening, we were literally, if you would have walked in here the morning of our soft opening, you would have been like, there's no way these guys are opening the doors this afternoon. Like it was still a construction zone, but friends got together and we pulled it together. But with that being said, we hadn't really investigated the jukebox very much. It had just been in storage since I'd bought it.
Yeah.
So we got it plugged in, and we realized that the key for it wasn't sent, so that we couldn't get into it. So luckily, we were just playing music over a speaker, like we'll deal with that later. And Ryan's brother was able to break into it for us. And there just happened to be a CD in there, and it was Journey. And we didn't know any of the codes for it yet. So it basically just played Don't Stop Believing on repeat for like half an hour, and everyone was like laughing and singing along with it. And that was like, of course it's that song. It was pretty funny.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever perfect.
Exactly.
We're still putting up signs every day in the store.
Yes.
We love it.
Exactly.
It's so much fun.
But it was just this moment like, I'd forgotten to like make menus, or I'd forgotten to get everything put into our square. Like, it's just like a total cluster, but everyone was in there laughing and having a great time. And you're like, oh yeah, this is what this like community is going to feel like.
How many times I print out like 20 menus and then I'm like, oh, I spelled, like beer wrong.
Yep.
It's the worst. So I was just like, oh my God, I did that with our Christmas menus. I had to redo them all. What was your first beer lineup? What did it look like?
So we had some really interesting ones. The Italian Pilsner, which is like always kind of our go-to and what a lot of people know us for. That banana bread or banana Hefeweizen was on.
It's so good.
Thank you. Our New England.
Amazing.
We did some weird stuff too. We opened with a grisette. So it's like a lesser known Saison style. We opened with a strawberry caraway rye Belgian. I think we only opened with like 6 or 7. I don't think we had a full 10 then, but those were some of the highlights.
And you also have breweries around you, like local breweries in here as well, correct?
We don't typically, but we like recently we had like we've done a collab with someone, then we'll bring it in.
Yeah.
So we do collabs for like Post Festival is a music festival in Fountain Square that we collab with. I'm the chapter leader for Indianapolis Pink Boots, so we'll do like a fundraiser beer every year. And this year it was at Heartwork in Bloomington, so we'll bring it in. So
it's awesome.
Not on a regular basis, but when we're in like collabs, we do.
Yeah. What I also think is great about your brewery is that you had the chance to have a 3-way licensing. You chose not to. Explain why you chose not to do a 3-way license. Because cocktails are always going to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, honestly, we're just, it just isn't for us. Like I know that we were just building the brewery that we wanted to go hang out in. We were making the beer that we wanted to drink. Basically everything's lower ABV because I get hungover very easy now.
Same.
It only gets worse as you get older.
Yeah.
And we did an interview once where someone was like, "That's really cool. You wanted everyone to be really responsible."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was it. I just wanted everyone to be really responsible. But yeah, so we have lower ABV things. We're just kind of focused on the beer that we like, and we're just not cocktail people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I drink cocktails like I drink a beer, and that's just bad for everybody.
Doesn't do well. And everyone nowadays is like, "Well, I'm a mixologist."
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God.
If you have like more than 4 ingredients in your build, I'm like, well, and I have worked at a place, places like that. And I'm like 7 ingredients. I'm bad at this. I can't do this.
Yeah. If I do anything over 3 ingredients, all my bartenders are like, seriously?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if it has like sprinkles on it. And
muddling.
Like, no,
you're like,
don't do that to me. Like, just let me pour beer. But the way you got your license was hard, though. I mean, when you first started, weren't you only allowed to brew beer but not sell it? Because you had to do a new zoning.
Yes. So that was probably the biggest hiccup. We were allowed to manufacture in this building, but we weren't allowed to have a retail license. And it was kind of a bummer because we approached the city. There's a process where you kind of do like a soft ask before everyone spends all the time and money.
Yeah.
Just to like gauge interest. And they came back and immediately said, no. Like, don't even waste your time. So we were like pretty frustrated for a couple of days. Again, we have a great landlord who was like, hang on. Like, I'm rehabbing this building in an area, that can use some like revitalization. We're going to fight this. So we actually spent a lot of time going to local neighborhood meetings. There was obviously a lot of concern from the community about like what a bar in here would look like because there are local bars around here where nothing good happens after midnight, and I understand why they're worried. So it was a lot of just like clearing up confusion, answering questions. No, you're not going to get a shot here. No, we close at 10.
Yeah.
And once people knew that, we got a lot of letters of support and were able to expedite the process. But,
yeah. Letters from people that you've never met.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that was really cool. And especially one of our neighbors, Jude, she's like the mayor of this neighborhood, basically. She's awesome. She had met us and was really excited about this. And so she went door to door and advocated a lot on our behalf. So she actually, typically it's the last Thursday of the month, you can come here and hear Jude play music. She plays like Americana, fiddle, banjo music. So
do you do a lot of live music here? Or?
We don't. We've kept it really, the space isn't super conducive to it. It's small and echoey. We really just have that, which we were like, Jude, you helped us open. You can do whatever you want. And then some other friends of hers that on the first Sunday of the month, there's kind of a rotating musicians come in and just kind of jam off each other. But that's about it as far as live music here.
But you guys do events. I saw you did, I think, a bingo and trivia.
Yes.
How did you guys decide on, okay, I want to do events here? Because that's a whole nother like work of planning and getting people staffed. What made you be like, okay, I want to do events now?
Well, I mean, events was my background, but the reality was that I actually didn't want to do events.
Yeah.
I was like, can we just have a bar and you just go hang out at the bar with your friends. Now, some of them, like the bingo is just like our girlfriend that does it. She used to work here, and it was more just like we wanted to play bingo with her, and she's funny, and we figured other people would want to as well. And then another previous coworker from Indiana City, he does trivia. So we were like, all right, yeah, we weren't going to do trivia, but we'll do trivia with you. So it's, again, like pretty organic and like very family. Like it wasn't, all the events here have some like tied to us.
That's how we feel, because events take a lot. And if it's not organic, then people are going to feel it. They're going to be like, it's okay.
Absolutely. If it just feels like something you're doing because you think it's just going to bring in money, I think, we all have to make money, but I think that people feel that and they're like, what? This feels weird.
Yeah, it's not organic.
Yeah.
But what I love about your story is that there's so much community around it and how you want to give back to your community.
Thank you.
I love that, especially on the East Side.
Yeah.
And you had people that advocated that didn't even know your name. What other moments of community have you found through Kismetic since you opened?
We have so many. It really does feel like everyone in here, just like it's great energy. Everyone feels like they would just be friends naturally. Mm-hmm. We have had a lot of folks that we met, at past breweries or at other jobs that have now become regulars here, which is fun. And they've had their engagement parties and their rehearsal dinners and their, baby showers. So you're seeing like an evolution of
life.
Yeah, of these folks growing up in your space. And it was even funny, we're 21 up in here.
Yeah.
But the patio is all ages. So it was funny to see all of a sudden some of these younger couples that I hadn't seen in, a year or so. And I'm wondering, where'd they go? Why wonder why they stopped coming in? And then they show up with a baby and I'm like, oh, that's why. I see.
Yeah.
That's
a good enough excuse.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You had a baby too. Wow. So it's fun that, we
Are you guys allowing pets yet?
Outside. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So you can bring your doggo out there. And we've had a couple adoption events with local rescues that we support that we've adopted from. So like Sketchy Mutts is one, Lucci's is another. So
you have fur babies?
Yes.
How many?
We have 2 now. We had previously, when we opened, we had Frankie and Dex, but they were old guys and we unfortunately lost them. But they were our little mascots. Frankie would sit at the door when you came in and he'd just like let you pet him. But now we have 2 young girls. There's Maya and Jules. And they cannot be anywhere near this tap room because they'll destroy everything.
What's the breed?
They're both pitties.
Oh, yeah. I have a pitty at home too, and it's the same. You can't put them in a big environment because they just get so excited. Like, everyone's here to see me. I was like, no, they're not.
Yeah, Frankie was good at that, but that's because he was like 13, at that point.
So you let your dog in. And that was okay.
Before we had food. Now that we do have like snacks and stuff, we're not doing that anymore. But honestly, we were allowing. We had 3 staff members that all had really chill dogs. Oh. And we were like, you can bring them in and just let them hang behind the bar with you. That's fine. But
that makes it feel more homey.
Yeah.
For sure.
And everyone loves to pet the dogs.
When you started, what was staffing like for you? Was it just you and Ryan for a while? And I know you always try and put as many women as possible on staff.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you when you're trying to find staff and how it started?
Yeah. So it was just Ryan and I. And then I was also still working at a neighborhood bar called TikTok that I had worked at, one of like the 7 places I worked at while we were building all this out. Yeah. So I was still working a second job and we were balancing that here with him brewing and then helping cover some taproom shifts. Our friend Shelby, she was our one employee from the very beginning. She worked 1 day a week. And that's it's just kind of like a fun story. She was the original taproom manager at Indiana City. We never worked together, but we had met and then had that in common. And then anyone else that has worked here so far, I've been really lucky that they are friends of mine. I'm actually terrified of ever having the moment where I need to just say we're hiring. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because, I hired, I did all the hiring for Indiana City, but right now it's like letting somebody like watch your house while you're not home. I'm like,
well, I'll let you jump in on this, but that's our biggest problem right now is because we always have the for hiring sign on our stores. Yeah. The tap room's like, obviously you're one of your babies. Yeah. Don't you feel the same when it comes to that?
It is my baby. Yes, yes. Well, you're right. It's almost inviting somebody into your home to pay them, but to represent you.
Right.
From the start. Whether that's in other employees' eyes to set the culture and the tone.
Yep.
But also in front of a customer as well. And then that's the vetting process.
Yeah.
So sometimes it jives, and then you got to just make some managerial decisions somewhere. But staffing is an imminent thing.
Yes.
So you'll feel it out, but the culture will set its own tone. And
right.
I think that's the filtering system that we lean hard on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like a perfect system, but yeah.
I get it.
Eventually, you start to kind of get a feel for what you look for and what you need.
Yep.
And sometimes those become your friends as well.
Yes.
I know. It's a process though.
When we've even thought about it, it's like always tough when I just get like a cold email from someone that I'm like, well, have you ever like been in the bar? Have you ever, not saying that's a requirement for everybody, but like for us, I'm like, the only people I've really ever thought about offering a position are people that are like, I've come to know through here. And then I would be like, hey, are you, interested?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that cold, just like, hi, are you hiring is tough for me.
So your story to begin with is very relatable as you show up with a white shirt, trying to figure out how this draft system works.
Yes.
And somewhere down the line, there's roses amongst the thorns, and we're like, oh goodness, look at this.
Yeah.
And then later, sometimes that's just meant to be, and it just tends to be, Kismet. I don't want to say that.
No, yeah.
Sometimes
I get
it's
it.
very
It's
much
Kismet.
like, wow, this was a great fit. But
Absolutely.
boy, were we wrong on the front side.
Yes.
And that's part of that whole journey. But staffing is, it's an extension of you, and you should always kind of hold that as, cherish what that is.
Absolutely.
Across the board, because they are representing everything that you have created and thought up and put into play. So, and those who come in to see it and understand it, then that's the fit.
Right.
Because it's not just a job, it's
Right.
a kind of a extended family type of a feel.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
I definitely see that.
And that's how you are even with your regulars. You want it to be family.
Yeah.
And for you to be like, well, I really want to try and hire women only, you're very open about it. It's almost hard for us to even say that. But all of our female workers always come to work on time. Always are educated on the beers we put out.
Yeah.
Always know when the deadlines are for scheduling, because scheduling will kill us.
Right.
And I mean, for us, people would probably be like, I can't believe you'd say that. That's almost like reverse sexism. But I'm just like, even like every aspect of our job, even delivery drivers, like we have females in place because they work harder. They almost care more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're using their emotion for good.
Right.
And even when we first started working together, I mean, that's always kind of like a difference. Like, he feels differently about things. I feel differently about things. It's because of our, how we identify our genders. I mean, I love that though, how you're very open. Like, I want to hire as many women as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Ryan, do you have any other males on staff?
I mean, we have, so I wouldn't ever say it was like exclusionary. It seemed like it just kind of happened that way, but we certainly did. We had a couple of guys that were friends of ours that have worked with us, and then honestly, it's just been an evolution of they've gone in different directions. Like it's fun to have grown up with a bunch of people in this local community and then see everyone become entrepreneurs in the same area. So, it's me working at your restaurant while I'm opening my spot, and you're working in my tap room while you're opening your next spot. And so that's been cool. But that's,
everyone's cool about it. It's not like, well, you're going to come for my business.
Right.
It's very much, like I said, you're very much about community, and you commented a bunch in a couple of your interviews about Googman House and Black Circle Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
Explain your relationships with them.
Yeah. Man, so Black Circle, we've just known the owner of Black Circle and Loom for a number of years. We met, I think, somewhere just through the beer world. And Jesse's actually the first person that I reached out to that I thought would be a good sounding board, where I just sat down with him and was like, I want to do this. Like, do you think I can do this? And it was really cool of him to be like, yeah, absolutely you can. Like, it's not that hard, but he just kind of was like, just yes, like don't overthink it, So we had some good conversations, and it was really cool because we opened with a collaboration beer from Black Circle here. That we brewed it over on their system, just as like to help like get word out and help just promote what was going on. And I remember, their staff came over to our soft open, and we hadn't bought anti-fatigue floor mats yet. So, one of them came back the next day just carting over a big mat and was like, here you go. Just like fun stuff like that. Like, thank you, saving my feet on the cement.
Yeah.
And then Gugman House, I had, while we were building this out, I'd actually worked when they were still in the house. So I was taproom serving and was part of the team that transitioned from the house to the new main headquarters space.
Yeah.
And then actually helped them start their event space over there. So it was part of the opening team and helping just kind of put like processes in place. And they've had so many wonderful weddings now, and they've just run away with it. They're doing a great job.
That's awesome. We personally love Gugman House. We put a lot of their beers on our lines at both stores. Oh, yeah. They're just so good. Hey guys, Lila here. Unfortunately, our meeting with Nicole got cut short due to some mic problems. I'm just going to be transparent. It happens. I recorded that episode at the beginning of December, and that was only like my 4th interview. And to think that was even a month ago is insane to me and how much I've grown. Just to listen back on the conversation with Nicole, I am just filled with so much gratitude. It really was an amazing time, and the conversations we had that weren't recorded are still something I think about today and impact how I run the restaurant that I manage at. But I just want to be transparent. We're learning equipment. Accidents happen. We're all human. But what I wanted to do is just wrap up Nicole's story with a few things that really touched me about her and just conclude it with that. First thing is, Nicole is all about community. She built Kismetic with the help of her beer community, first of all. She had the help with fellow beer neighbors like Gugman House and Black Circle Brewing, but also her real neighbors. She met a lot of her actual real neighbors to help her get the spot rezoned so she could have the bar at the exact location. So she went to a bunch of city hall meetings, all that type of stuff, the neighborhood meetings, and actually connected with who she was going to have as patrons. She built Kismetic Brewing with her community for her community. She made sure that it was only craft beer and not a full bar, which was risky and definitely worth it. Most people would rather want the opportunity of having their full-way, 3-way liquor license if they had the option, right? Wrong. And that's what I love about Nicole's story. She did what was not what everyone else would do. It was unconventional. It was beautiful. I love it. And Kismetic is on the east side of Indy, and we're trying to revitalize that community and do it as a state. I mean, there's a lot of parts of Indy that deserve better now. So, and let's be honest, nothing good happens at a bar after midnight when liquor is involved. I mean, come on now. Kismetic closes at 10 p.m. and brews lower ABV style beers. It promotes a safer, healthier, and positive approach to nightlife, especially on the east side of Indy. It is very welcoming and even has a patio in the summer to bring your dogs out to. Love that. I'm going to definitely have to bring Nicole out for a podcast interview and do it on the patio one day with all of our dogs because her fur babies are so cute. My second thing is Nicole's a business owner who focuses on equality in the workplace, but she works in the service industry. And that's really uncommon. The service industry was not built on equality. It is hard for everyone who owns a piece of the service industry, whether it be a brewery, bar, restaurant, bakery, cafe, diner, anywhere, to pay an hourly rate that suffice. Because technically most service industry people work on tips. Nicole does not bring anyone in at $2.13 an hour, and she's helping work toward healthcare benefits in her company for her employees. It is a long road ahead of us since Jason and I and Nicole have been looking into this as well, but like us, Nicole is advocating, researching, and that's all we can do right now to make the changes in the service industry. It's a long road ahead of us, but I think with people like Nicole and Jason, we're capable of it. Nicole also strives to have a mostly female identifying based staff. Now, don't get it twisted where she doesn't hire men at all, because she will. I mean, her head brewer is her husband. I mean, he's amazing. There's good guys out there. But she is creating a space for women in the craft beer culture that was not always there. Most breweries are created by men, for men, designed by men, which is not always inviting for women. Kismetic Brewing is designed with welcoming colors, curvy and not harsh lines, greenery, and comfortable seating. Not bar stools that will kill your back. I mean, when I interviewed with Nicole and we sat at her chairs in her brewery, girl, they were so comfortable I could have fallen asleep. Everyone can enjoy her space that she has created. Third thing is collaboration.
which always is so important to me. I believe collaboration is what builds community, and Nicole believes in that too. Nicole is all about collaboration and has experienced it firsthand with collaborating with local breweries, food trucks, artists, musicians, you name it. Nicole even took a chance on me, someone she had never even met before we interviewed together, to tell her story. All we had were a few emails back and forth. Nicole, I cannot thank you enough. You are helping me trailblaze while managing into what I want it to be. I can't wait to have you back on the pod soon. Speaking of collaborating, Kismetic Brewing is now going to be in Greek's Pizzeria and Tap Room. We're currently picking which one we want on the draft lines, but I literally could put them all on. They were so good when I tried them with Jason. I think my favorite would probably be the banana nut bread Hefeweizen. I mean, everything about that sounded amazing. And when I tasted it, oh my gosh, it was beautiful. So I just want to wrap this episode up with a little conclusion, since I lost some really good footage of Nicole, Jason, and myself. Because, I mean, when I brought Jason in for this interview, he had a really great insight on the convo. And of course, we lost it. But it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. Look out for Kismetic Brewing on our lines at the tap rooms, and you'll finally get a taste of what Nicole is giving the craft beer world. Thank you for being a woman manager, Nicole, and a trailblazer in the craft beer world. Much love to her and Kismetic Brewing. See you next time. Love you guys. Bye.